Welcome to the G5 Huddle. The College Huddle is the largest fan led college sports podcast community on the internet. The College Huddle offers its members a network of other podcasts and content creators to work with, giving our audiences more in depth content. If you're interested in more college football coverage, then I highly recommend you go and follow the College Huddle on X at College Huddle, our YouTube channel at the College Huddle Podcast, and visit the website at thecollegehuddle.com where you will find articles and information from our 70 plus college athletic focused podcasts. If you are watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. Finally, if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. I am Luke, and I am joined today by my co host, Justice, and we are excited to be back and bringing you the G5 college football content that you love each and every week. Justice, welcome. It's a little funky today. It's a little funky
It
today.
is. It is. It's definitely.
So
We're pre-recording because Father's Day is on Sunday, and I have a
that's
lot of stuff going on with my daughter on Friday and Saturday. So, well, it's Friday morning for me. It's almost
it's
12:30 in the a.m.
and it's Thursday for me. So I'm doing this on a Thursday. You're recording on a Friday. It's dropping on a Sunday. This is like the twilight zone of a G5 Huddle podcast.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I mean, it's a shame we can't do it live, but sometimes that's just how it works.
And Billy Tuesday, we miss you. I know.
Absolutely.
I know you're down there in the chat somewhere. We can't see it yet, but we know it's going to be there. Thanks for the support, Billy Tuesday. Um, we didn't have a lot of news really this week. It was honestly a lot of really dead stuff, but luckily one thing popped up that we will get to later. But first, Justice with the news and notes.
So transfer portal, it's really slowing down. But we did have a couple of guys going to the G5. So the first one is linebacker Coffee Taylor Barracks. He's going from Colorado to UTEP. Kofi is a three-star kid that he came. He's an international kid. He came over from England. He was at the NFL Academy in London. The NFL Academy is a football development program. They have them, all different locations around the world for student athletes. And so he came via that. He was at Colorado. Things didn't work out there, and he goes to UTEP. UTEP just lost linebacker Tyrese Knight going over. He got drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. So, you know, maybe they see Coffee as kind of filling that role and helping them out after Tyrese Knight has moved on to the NFL. Defensive lineman Keenan Landry going from Louisiana Tech to Kent State. Safety Antonio Carter from Notre Dame to Jacksonville State. Antonio Carter was previously at Rhode Island before he ended up going to Notre Dame, and now he's going to Jacksonville State, who's had some attrition in that defensive backfield. And then finally, offensive lineman Romello Watson is going from Tennessee State to Georgia State. I don't have the numbers in front of me, Luke, but Georgia State has to be one of the, if not number one, they got to be top 5 active programs in the transfer portal.
Yeah, probably of all. I would say they probably
Out
are.
of
Again, I
everybody,
don't.
like not just G5,
Yeah.
everyone, yeah.
Yep. Utah State kind of went through a little spurt, but like Georgia State's been there since the beginning, and I mean, it starts there with the head coach and going to be the tight end coach there at South Carolina, and been a whirlwind. Yeah, that team, but I do like what they are doing and the trajectory of that program here. Definitely recruiting a lot there in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Absolutely. All right, some more just general player news. Quarterback Stone Earl has left North Texas. This isn't overly surprising because, we just announced, I think it's the last episode, that Chandler Morris is officially confirmed to be at North Texas. The puzzling thing for me, I guess, is, Stone Earl entered the transfer portal back in December. The coaching staff at North Texas was able to convince him to come back. and at that point, you knew Chandler Moore. They're bringing in Chandler Morris, and so it just seems odd, like what all of a sudden changed because you knew Chandler Morris was coming way back when. Now maybe he thought like many others that Chandler Morris wouldn't really come, that he'd follow his dad over to Texas State.
Well, something that we got from Vito when we were doing our G55 Worker Bee series is he talked about how he would make the drive. Apparently, it's not too far from TCU over there to North Texas. That he would be there, and he would be around the team. And I don't know if he would actually do the workouts, but he might do something on the side that he just happened to be there for. I don't know. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but like, and maybe like he came back and then he saw that stuff and he's like, oh, okay, like I thought I could do it, but maybe I can't. I
Well,
don't
then you
know.
think,
That
yeah,
could be
it's just
something though.
weird because then you think he would have entered the portal. I mean, he would have entered the portal back in May, but maybe he's just stepping away from football altogether. I'm not really sure, but just I don't know. It just kind of strikes me as odd, like odd timing and such, and
But somebody,
you know,
but somebody did step away from college football.
absolutely. Mitch Griffiths, quarterback, formerly of Wake Forest. He committed to Marshall, but he's decided to kind of step away from football altogether. So that kind of leaves Chad Pennington's son, Cole Pennington, and Braylon Braxton to kind of battle it out for that
Trans
Marshall.
and then Braxton transferred
Braxton's
from
a
Tulsa.
transfer from Tulsa, yeah. So it'd be interesting. I think from everything I've read and seen, Cole Pennington's probably the leader, at least heading into fall camp. But yeah, Mitch. I mean, I don't know. It feels like a big loss for Marshall. Losing Mitch Griffiths, another
But
guy that
did
would
they
have
really
been
lose? But did they lose him? They never really had him.
someone that would have been in the mix. I think to be the
Yep.
starter come fall. So for at least if nothing else, it hurts him from a depth perspective.
Yeah, we do have Marshall lined up here in like 2 weeks or something to talk to them. So find out a little bit more there about that quarterback situation.
Yes. And hate to share sad news, but I don't feel like we can. I feel like we need to share this, and it was a sad day in the G5 football, and in particular for Southern Mississippi. But Southern Mississippi defensive back Marcus M.J. Daniels, his life was lost Tuesday evening during an incident that occurred off campus. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Daniels family and with the Southern Mississippi football team. It's never an easy thing, to see a young person go.
Absolutely. It's hard to transition out of that, and then kind of into more news that is also not great. But we did do a worker bee series with Troy, and we talked about Chris Lewis and he's a wide receiver there for Troy and his battle with cancer, and we talked about that a little bit. And in that video, we have a GoFundMe that got several likes, some ESPN analysts and whatnot retweeting that out. Pete Thamel, I believe, and so much. So we're gonna put down in the video. Um,
Description.
his go yeah, in the description, his GoFundMe. If you so choose to participate, he would greatly appreciate that. Um, so we got a couple pieces of news here that we do want to talk about, and that is the bowl release came out this week. So I kind of want to talk about how it affects G5. Get your thoughts, Justice. I've got some of mine. Initially, when that bowl release schedule came out, what stood out right away to you?
Like to me, the biggest thing I think in terms of impact to the G5 is that Army and Navy does not have a day to themselves anymore. Um, they have the two other bowl games, the Celebration Bowl, which pits the MEAC against the SWAC. The Celebration Bowl kicks off at noon on that Saturday, and then you have Army and Navy kicking off, I believe, at 3 or 3:30 that afternoon. And then that night you have the Camellia Bowl kicking off at 9 p.m., which will feature a MAC team versus a Sun Belt team. So, typically that Saturday it's all Army Navy, and that's it, and the spotlight's all on them. So I don't know, like even though the bowl games don't conflict with the Army Navy game in terms of time, still it takes a little bit of to me, it takes a little bit of the shine off of that Army Navy game, right? Because it's not the sole focus of that day. So that's definitely, in my opinion, that was the thing that stuck out the most and was a little disappointing for me.
But I guess at least they were smart enough to kind of stagger them. I mean, you might have, I would assume that the Celebration Bowl and then the Army Navy game will be on different networks because, usually those games run right around after, when they're on TV, they run around 3.5 hours. So,
They
if you
are.
got if you got like a noon and then a 3 o'clock game, you might have some overlap. So I would assume they're going to be on different broadcasts, but maybe you get somebody, maybe it's a blowout and somebody switches over that maybe wasn't going to watch Army Navy and they decide to watch it. We'll kind of go from there, but at least it was better than, where the NCAA messed up, in my opinion. Was December 19th, Thursday night football, the Browns versus the Bengals. But 15 minutes earlier, we have the kickoff of the New Orleans Bowl. Like we talked about, what had been 2-3 weeks ago when we talked about what are our bowls that would like embody the granddaddy of them all, Rose Bowl, and we both picked the New Orleans Bowl as one of those things. Like, well, it's tough to have the Rose Bowl of the G5 on the same night as Thursday night football. Granted, Thursday night football is this product that hasn't been super great, and they try to do a color rush or something, and depends on if Deshaun Watson is any good and Joe Burrow's not hurt. I don't know, but like I assume Thursday night football is going to take a lot more people away that would have watched the New Orleans Bowl. Possibly, it could be a total.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong, but I think it takes away from what the New Orleans Bowl could be. But you know what? I don't care who's going to be there. Probably going to be watching the New Orleans Bowl because I can get a recap from one of the 27 places that cover Thursday night football, and I can hear about it in the morning about how bad it was.
Yeah, that's just like, I don't know, like that's just poor. That's really bad. Like, why would you schedule to compete against the NFL? That's just like, I mean, to me that'd be like fundamental rule number one. Like, do not schedule against the NFL. Like, yeah.
It's like, and the thing that's interesting is like historically they have this thing. It's like, okay, the NCAA has stopped their regular season. Now we're going to give you Saturday night, like we're going to give you Saturday football for the NFL. Like they don't overlap. Like they're very conscious of this, but like this one they were not.
And of course it's a G5 bowl, right? Like it's not.
Yeah.
The G5 gets the short end of the stick, like pretty typical. And I don't know, like I don't know. The redheaded stepchild is what it feels like sometimes.
But they did figure it out. You got Myrtle Beach Bowl, a couple days here before Christmas on the 23rd. They're at 11 a.m. I can't remember if I put these in Central Time or they must be in Central if it's at 11 o'clock. So Myrtle Beach
it's
Bowl.
actually 11 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, so you got Myrtle Beach Bowl at 11 a.m. Then our other embodiment of the granddaddy of them all, the Idaho Potato Bowl at 2:30, and then Saints and Packers at 7:15. Like that makes sense. Like I can wake up and I can do the things I got to do early in the morning, and then it's Christmas break. I'm not doing anything. If I'm wearing pants by that time, like I think we're a miracle. So we got we've got that 11, and you can kind of make this whole day out of it. And then you got a little lull there in the middle for a nap. I mean, it's perfect. And then you wake up and you got Saints Packers. So that's like kind of where they did it wrong. But I really feel like the NCAA screwed up December 19th, Thursday night football.
Absolutely.
No one's gonna want to watch the Browns Bengals. Let's hope that in the New Orleans Bowl can get some good teams there and make that one an
Yeah.
enjoyable night for the NCAA.
Yeah, if I was going to kind of run through the bowl games that at least have tie-ins to the G5. So Saturday, December 14th, you got the Camellia Bowl, MAC versus Sun Belt. Tuesday, December 17th, you got the Boca Raton Bowl, which has a tie-in to every G5 conference, American, Conference USA, MAC, Mountain West, Sun Belt. Then that evening, or later that evening, you have the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Again, same thing. They have a tie-in to every G5. And then we get our first bowl game that pits well, maybe this isn't right now that I'm looking at it. It's the LA Bowl. It's supposed to feature the Pac-12 versus the Mountain West. So I don't know how that will work. Maybe that's going to be a Pac-2 versus Mountain West. They're going to have to rework that one, buddy, because the Pac-2 are playing a lot of the Mountain West teams, and so you don't want a rematch there. So maybe the tie-ins for the LA Bowl will get reworked, or the site that I'm looking at is not correct. The RL Carriers Bowl that you just mentioned, that's the Conference USA versus Sun Belt. And then we get to Friday, December 20th, the Cure Bowl, again, tie-in with all the G5 programs. And then we get to another potential tie-in of G5 versus P5, and that's the Gasparilla Bowl, where the American has a tie-in, as well as the ACC and the SEC. So we could get a G5 versus P5 matchup then. And then that's also December 20th is also the first round game of the 12-team playoff. Then you get 12-team playoff games again on Saturday the 21st. And then Monday the 23rd that you mentioned, we get two more G5 games with the Myrtle Beach Bowl. That's the American, MAC, and Sun Belt. And then the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Mountain West versus MAC. And then Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, we get the Hawaii Bowl, which is Mountain West versus Conference USA. And then Thursday, the day after Christmas, we get our next P5 versus G5 matchup with the Detroit Bowl, the Big Ten versus the MAC. And we also got the 68 Ventures Bowl that same day. It's got ties in with the Sun Belt, Conference USA, and MAC. Friday the 27th, we have the Birmingham Bowl, again, another potential G5, P5 matchup with ACC, SEC, and American. The Armed Forces Bowl, which is the all G5 matchup, American versus Conference USA. Saturday, December 28th, another potential G5 versus P5 matchup with the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, and that's ACC versus the American. Then we get the New Mexico Bowl, which is a tie-in for all the G5 teams. And then, what do you think about this bowl, Luke? The Gin and Juice Bowl. It's the Snoop Dogg Gin and Juice Arizona Bowl. That's a new sponsor. It used to be the Barstool Sports Bowl, and now it's the Gin and Juice Bowl. MAC versus Mountain West. That's definitely one of the more interesting sponsorships of a bowl game.
I don't think it's going to work out too well, Bob. Don't think it's going to work out. When we had Barstool with the personality of Portnoy and the Bussin' Boys, and then you got Gronk. Was there 2 years ago? Before then, he went. I think he was at the LA Bowl last year.
Now he's at the LA Bowl, yeah.
But like they had him out, and like I don't think it ever gained the traction. They bounced. So, I mean, Snoop's a lot bigger of a name, and I mean, maybe California would have been a better place than maybe Arizona. Not sure on that, but I mean, I'm here in Iowa, and I don't mind me some Snoop.
It's just interesting, like I don't know, like you would think that the NCAA, I mean, in the past, we talked about it last week, where the NCAA doesn't kind of frowns upon alcohol sponsorship. and now you got gin and juice is his new thing, and now they're the sponsorship of a bowl. So I guess the bottom line is it's money, right? And they're not going to turn away money.
Absolutely.
All right. Next up is the Go Bowling Military Bowl. Again, another G5 versus P5 matchup with the ACC versus the American. And then another G5 versus P5 bowl, provided that Army can get bowl eligible, the Independence Bowl, which features Army against a Pac-12 team. And let's see, anything left? Then we get into the bigger bowl games, the quarterfinal playoff games. We have the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, January 3rd, which has tie-ins for the American, ACC, and Big 12. So you got a potential G5 versus P5 matchup there. And then the next to last bowl game that is not part of the college football playoff, the Bahamas Bowl, which features Conference USA versus MAC. So yeah, that kind of wraps things up for the bowl schedule here in 2025 and 2024 season. Hopefully a G5 team is going to be in it's got at least one spot in that 12 team playoffs. So they'll be featured in that game as well for a G5 versus P5 matchup. And I don't know, hopefully we can see an upset at least in week one, and they can make it to the next round there, make it to the quarterfinals.
Now let's talk about our next thing that came up just earlier today. We got lucky to grab it and record later tonight. Is the private equity of the Big 12. Why are we talking about the Big 12? Well, let's just kind of break it down and what does it really mean for the G5? So this was there's an article on CBS Sports where I'm reading this from. This is from Dennis Dodd. He put it out about 6 hours ago, so 6 7 p.m. at night, I think. I don't know. My math is off. I need some sleep. I don't know. But it says it is titled The Big 12 Considering Private Equity Investments of Up to 1 billion, as much as 20% of conference. So you're telling me with 16 teams in the Big 12 at 20%, so you're valuing the Big 12 at $5 billion. 16 teams, so that means that each team is worth $312,500,000. Later in the article, he does go on to say that it could be 800 million to a billion. So then at that point, you're evaluating the Big 12 at 50 million. So is it 50 million or is it 5 billion? I mean, for me, either way, a lot of money. When you're up at that stratosphere, I don't know how much of a difference it really is. Or I guess it's 50 million per team. But yeah, we talked about it when we were talking about realignment and stuff, and I am just against private equity getting into the business, and I'm happy might not be the right word because I don't want it in any college football, but I'm happy if it is going to be in college football that it's not a G5 team trying it out. That the guinea pig is somewhere else, and it is going to be, that the Big 12. And I think it's going to be interesting in how it's being used because how I kind of see private equities in football is that it's almost like a credit card. It's like, how can I get more money, more money, more money? And then at some point, that money is due. Like you have to pay that bill at some point. 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, whatever. And the people that got you into this predicament are no longer on the athletic. They're no longer an athletic director. They're no longer a Big 12 commissioner. They're no longer this. They've moved on to, but they did save the Big 12. They did, it's a good thing on your resume for your next spot. So, Justice, what are your thoughts on this private equity? You can touch on it in the Big 12, but I want to, we're the G5 huddle. Let's take a spin on what it means for the G5.
Um, I think I agree with you. Like, I'm glad to see that a P4 is at least the first one looked like maybe trying it out. Um, and it's not the G5 learning what to do and what not to do. Um, just because I feel like I don't know, like if private equity was like that heavily involved in the G5, like it could I don't know, like it could really change the course of things and somewhat I don't want to use the word crush, but like kill momentum, be it could be a very devastating blow if things went south, I guess is the best way to say it. Um and so, I'm glad to see like it's someone that I feel like the blow wouldn't be as devastating to if things go south in the Big 12, just because they are a power four conference. They got a lot of money, got a lot of things going on, and so whereas I could see if it happens in the G5, like things go south, it could just I don't know devastate conferences, devastate teams. It,
S-
it
See now,
could be
so
really bad.
then it could be really bad, but private equities do exist because on occasion they do work and they do well. And I think the one thing that could be good with private equities for the G5 in particular, I think the P4 is probably in a better spot to survive than the G5. But like when you're getting rid of this sport or that sport or whatever it is, because you can't fund it anymore, that private equity could save sports teams. Now, what that school does with the money is a different story, but like you would think that they would use that money, whatever it is, to hey, we were not going to have money for the women's rowing team. Well, now we do. Like, I don't. I will be kind of curious on how that works, or because mostly men's basketball and football are the revenue getters. Like, what does that look there? But I think that it does have some opportunity for good
It,
if
it
they so choose. And something
yeah.
else I want to point out in this article is it says that no league has ever been this close to a private equity investment of this kind. But it also says that it's kind of just scratching the surface. There's like three teams looking into it. So like it doesn't seem like it's close, but it's further than anybody else has gotten.
I mean, I agree with you. It's going to be up to the individual schools how they use the money, but experience tells me like it's not going to be used to save the wrestling program. It's going to be used to build the football indoor practice facility or upgrade the football locker rooms. That's sadly that's the reality of it. And like to me, like if you get to that point where that's where it's all about football and basketball, and then all the other non-revenue sports, if you will, kind of suffer. Like I don't know, just I don't know. I don't like it, but
Yeah, I'm with
hopefully,
you. Overall, I don't like it. But if the people that are a part of making this decision, like I said, I feel like it's a credit card bill. As long as you're not need to file for bankruptcy and you've got a plan and you know what you're going to do, then great. But I am not very confident that the people making the decision aren't looking past 5 years and what it's going to do for them to get to their next position because athletic directors don't last very long a lot of the time, and I have no idea how long commissioners last, but I'm going to go out on a limb that say even if private equities do not become a part of the Big 12, how long is it Jed York? I know York's the last name. I don't remember the first name, but York, is he there in 5-10 years for the Big 12? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know what that lifespan is, but I just think the people that are, just like when the NCAA hands out repercussions for these people that violated NCAA rules that are no longer there, and the kids can't go for this bowl game because of this decision that was made that they were not a part of. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I know, Jim Harbaugh is off in the NFL and he can't coach because of the cheeseburger incident and, whatever. It's like, it didn't affect these kids and then you make it affect them. So those were my thoughts. It's still early. It just broke about 6-7 hours ago, and I've got life going on. I've got kid t-ball and coach pitch baseball and stuff, so I haven't really got a chance to really dig deep and get to know anything more. And I'm sure more will come out. I'm sure there's some podcasts about it that I'll hear a little bit more, or some lawyer mumbo jumbo that I can read and understand more. But that's my initial thoughts. And Justice, did you get all your thoughts out on that so far?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, my interest is peaked, and hopefully it'll be like I said, a P4 that learns what to do and what not to do. Uh, before the G5 does it, and like I said, makes a potential devastating move.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Sorry for the short show. We are, like I said, pre-recording because of Father's Day on Sunday. So if you are watching this on Sunday and you are, a father or a single mother, you know, you act like just like a dad too. So happy Father's Day to you. And if you're looking for more G5 college football content, please check out the lineup of teams over at the College Huddle. They have articles, podcasts, YouTube shows, etc. Plenty of content for the G5 college football fan.
And if after that you still want more G5 college football content, we encourage you to check out our other G5 college football show, the G5 Hive, at G5 on Hive on X and YouTube. We are currently producing our Worker Bee series, where we deep dive into the landscape of G5 college football teams with the folks that know the teams the best. We interview beat reporters, super fans, school podcasts, and even student reporters to get all the skinny on the G5 teams they cover. Several episodes are available now on the G5 Hive YouTube channel and in podcast form on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This past week, we released episodes covering the UTSA Roadrunners, the Troy Trojans, and the Ball State Cardinals. Coming up this week, we have episodes with the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks, and the Jacksonville State Gamecocks.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. With that, we wish that all your field goals be right down the middle and that your favorite teams always get the W. Until the next time, we are the G5 Huddle, and thank you for your support.